Hi, my name is Katie, and today we are doing tutorial 6, which is how to use Swigger to document and test an API. So I'm gonna go over the code, and then I'll complete the testing with Swigger. So here we have our config folder. So we have the OpenAPI config.java. So obviously the necessary import. So here we're just going to load development server URL from the application properties, and then over here we're going to load production server URL from the application properties. Next, we have to configure the OpenAPI, which is Swigger, document for the Spring Boot application. So this bean just customizes the service URL, API information, and contact details and license. So here we're just defining the development server. Here we define the production server. Here we define the contact information appears in the Swagger UI. And then here the API license is the API license. And then this is the main open API metadata. So it's the title, the version, the contact, description, terms, and license. And then lastly, we just return the OpenAI configured with the information in server list. So here we have the controller. So this is the REST controller exposing the CRUD API endpoints for managing the tutorial entities. So here we have the operation API responses. So to create a new tutorial. So this is just where we're going to post a new tutorial basically, and it should return a status 201 if it went through successful, and if it came back with an error, we will receive a 500. So here we create a new tutorial object from the request body, and it was saving, it must have a description and when it was published and a title. And then it will tell us if it was created through an HTTP status, and if it crashes or anything, there will be an exception with an internal service error, which is a 500. Then over here, we're going to retrieve all the tutorials optionally filtered by the title. So it's going to retrieve all the tutorials, which is the get method. And then if it went through successfully, we will receive a 200. And if there are no tutorials, we will receive a 204. And if there is an error, we will receive an internal 500 error. So here we have the get mapping tutorials. So we have our try and catch, and in the try we have our if, else, and if. So basically what's happening in the try, so if the title params exist, filter by title, otherwise fetch all. And then if that doesn't work, our catch exception will kick in. And then here we're just going to get the tutorials by the unique ID. And then also we will update a new tutorial by the ID. And then basically over here we just delete the tutorial by its ID, and then we also over here we can delete all the tutorials, and then here we can retrieve all the tutorials that are marked as published. Now we just have the model, so this is just going to represent a tutorial entity using the API. It contains basic fields such as ID, title, description, and publish status. Here is a unique identifier for the tutorials marked as read-only, so it doesn't appear in the Swagger post request body. Here we have the title of the tutorial, here we have the description of the tutorial, and then over here we have a private boolean that indicates whether the tutorial has been published. Here we have the default constructor required for the JSON serialization and deserialization. Over here, it is a parameterized constructor to quickly create a tutorial. So the title of the tutorial, the description is the text in the published status, which is the boolean true or false. And then here we just set the ID of the tutorial. That's usually is set by the system, so like automatically. And then here we just return the ID of the tutorial. Here we return the title of the tutorial. Here we set the tutorial's title, and then here we return the description of the tutorial. Here we set the description of the tutorial. Here we return the tutorial. If it's published, or if it's false, it's otherwise. And then here we just set the published status of the tutorial, and then up here we just return the readable string representation of the tutorial object. Next we have the service. So the service class that manages the tutorial entities. This is the in-memory service in our database for demo purposes basically, and the tutorials are stored in the set class and IDs are generated sequentially. Here we have the in-memory list to store the tutorials. Here we also have the account to generate unique IDs for new tutorials. Here we retrieve all the tutorials and return the list of all the tutorials. And then over here, we find all the tutorials whose titles contains the given string, which is also case sensitive. The title is the text search in the tutorial, and the list of tutorials is the matching title. Here we find a tutorial by its ID in the ID is the tutorial's ID, and the return will just return the tutorial's object if found, otherwise it will be null. Next, this is how we save a tutorial. Let's do this. So if the tutorial has an ID, it updates the existing tutorial. If the tutorial ID is 0, it creates a new tutorial and assigns a new ID. So the tutorial is a tutorial object to save. The save tutorial, it will return the save tutorial with the ID. Then over here we just create a new tutorial. So it will set the ID, it will edit, and then it will return the new tutorial that was created. Over here, this is where a tutorial will be deleted by its ID, and the ID is the ID of the tutorial. And then over here we delete all the tutorials, so it will remove all the tutorials that was created. And then over here, we retrieve the tutorials that match the published status. And then the is published is true is to get the published tutorials and false otherwise. And then it will just return the list of tutorials matching the published status. Okay, so now we will be testing it out with Swigger. So I already have the URL, the API as well. So now we are going to do a host request for the tutorial. So we are going to create one. Just do this. Here we have the title. So I'll just say testing. I'll just say tutorial 6 to be better. Tutorial 6. Description. Testing API or Swagger. Publish, leave it as true, and then we can execute it. Here we have our response. 201, it was created. Now we will do the get method. So I'm not going to add anything. It should give me tutorial back. So here we got a code to 100. So this ID is ID2. We can see that the title, tutorial6, as well as the description. So now we can also get a tutorial by its unique ID. Over here. So I'm going to say to execute, and there we have it. Okay, we can also update it. So let me see this. Okay. Let me just reset it. So I'm going to change the title now. So we can say I guess we'll put a movie. And then we can execute it, and then we will see the update. Did it go through? Yeah, it did. As we can see, it did go through. So now we are going to delete it as well. We're going to delete it by its unique ID. Execute. Yeah, we got a 204, and it deleted it as well. But just to be sure that it did go, let us just see if we can get it. Yeah, it left. It's deleted. So that is it for tutorial 6. Thank you for watching.